What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really affecting it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, NIO is down slightly 1.92%, recovering from its low of $5.98. That'll make a little bit more sense once we go over the technicals, but it does appear as though some big money is buying. So over the last several minutes, you do see a couple big transactions, but in general, these are all the transactions on the secondary market above $100,000. You see some selling at 3 a.m., and that is, in my opinion, largely linked to this right here. So ultimately, they do have up until October the 31st to come to some agreement in regards to the European tariffs, which in reality, I still don't think it's that big of a deal. It would help, but it doesn't kill NIO whatsoever. But it looks like the first round of, negotiations was shot down. So in my opinion, that's what gave NIO a little bit more of a negative kind of downtrend right here. But once again, I'm going to go over all the data points that you need to know. No actual news associated to NIO itself, no SEC filings, as you can kind of see right here. So in my opinion, it's just trying to digest everything that has happened, and just NIO right now, because of it going down so much so fast, it is kind of breaking the technicals slightly, bouncing off of a very strong support. So luckily enough, that's kind of the saving grace, but still, right now, shorts are increasing 110,000 shares, which is what they normally do first thing. 12.73% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 170.08 million shares. What shorts have done over the last 3 days, or I think 2 days exactly, is the fact that any momentum that NIO does get, shorts do increase and kind of kill it. So we'll just have to wait and see at the end of the day. If there's a lot of good developments or whatever, then I'll do a after hours video for NIO. But cost of our average 2.47%, utilization is 94.68. And so as of right now, like I said, some big money is buying, causing it to go up. Some value investors, nothing new since I last refreshed it, but still in general, you do see a increase in institutions paying attention to it. So big money is kind of buying the dip, if that makes sense with NIO. But as of right now, looking at options, 1.3 million in calls, 665,000 in puts. 57% of all the options being done today, though, are bearish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $8 range. And then looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be around that $6 range. And so kind of, in my opinion, still a little bit more upside is anticipated, but with right now being, or today being Wednesday, this is kind of the outlook for the open interest. So this is going to be a little bit more relevant come after like second half of Thursday and more so for Friday, but you have 39,000 at that 7, and then 19,000 at that 650, 6,000 at that 6. So market makers and shorts do have a financial interest in having NIO close below 650. So you do see some subtle signs of manipulation, and maybe that's why shorts were really doubling down the first couple days of this week, just to kind of set the trajectory for NIO to really pull back. So again, a lot of moving parts, a lot of manipulation, and a lot of algos. And I have been bringing that up time and time again. Some people have had some questions like, what the hell is he talking about? Yes, algorithmic trading is a very real thing. Retail investors, in fact, can do it. I've had one. It was just more of a trial, and I think it ended up losing me like $100, nothing crazy. But in general, like, there's a lot of those types of programs out there. Just big money has more sophisticated ones, and I think the ones that are available for retail are pretty crappy, and maybe that's meant to be it that way, so then retail loses money. But still, algos do make up the majority of the volume for NIO itself, and just a lot of other growth stocks as well, right? But aside from that, right now with at $6.10, it is trading between these 2 points, so this S3 and this S2. So 565 will be the strong support via the fib levels, and then $6.15 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So definitely need to watch for NIO to get above and stay above this S2. But basically that central boiling band right over here was the saving grace for NIO. for today at least. So it was wanting to kind of break down, transition into the lower percentile, but luckily enough, like I said, that central boiling event was that saving grace, at least momentarily. We'll just have to wait and see what does come from today, because I believe a Fed speaker also just stated that dependent on inflation data tomorrow, so CPI is coming out, if it is a little bit better than anticipated, then there won't be any need for any cut for the November 7th meeting. So that isn't really what the market wants to hear, especially for growth stocks. So yeah, I think that's causing a lot of extra volatility today. But looking on the actual chart itself, on the stochastic, red line above the white, so a little bit more of a bearish deviation, but it is at 55, so somewhat neutral, so not really overbought nor oversold. And the number of retail investors, this one is kind of interesting, is getting the hell out. They're getting the hell out of Dodge. Are you guys, I've been asking this over the last couple of videos when it's shown some signs of pulling back based on that. Like, are you guys taking profits? Are you done with this? Do you think the hype is kind of just going to kill NIO a little bit more? Like, what's your guys' thoughts on all that? Generally, I really do like a lot of the stuff that's been coming out associated to NIO, but cannot ignore the fact that NIO has been heavily manipulated over the last several years due to it just being a Chinese stock. So we can't just expect, I guess, that manipulation to go away. So yeah, again, it is what it is. Maybe that's what some retail investors are really forecasting. So let me know you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Shorts right now are increasing 61,000 shares. So we went from 110 to 61. So yeah, that obviously aided in it kind of going up, because again, that would cause them to be returning some shares. With that said, I appreciate all you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Take advantage of this promo. It does give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link to this is in the description below and also the comments. And then one final thing, I did launch multiple different levels for my memberships, so I highly recommend you guys taking a look at that, also in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate all of you guys watching.